Hello, my ghoulish mortals. I don't know if I like that. I don't know. So, this is a story time video. I'm going to, and I thought this is the right time of year for it, getting into the spooky season and everything. So I used to work in a hospital, and I mean, if any place is haunted, hospitals for sure. Now, I don't know that I believe in hauntings and believe in ghosts and stuff like that. I just don't know. And I don't know if I don't believe because I don't want to scare myself, or I don't know how I feel about it. I know I've seen and heard some really weird things in my life, but I just prefer to not let it in because I've heard people say various things about, no, it's not ghost. It's something far more sinister. Just don't let it in, ignore it. So, but for the most part, I don't really believe in any of that. I believe that there's a perfectly logical reason for everything, but it's fun to explore and it's fun to think about, but what if the logical reason is that there are ghosts? You know what I mean? So anyway, I wanted to share some of the things that happened while I worked at this hospital. Like, some really creepy things happened. And, but never did I get the sense that it was evil or bad, and that could be trickery. I understand that, but just let me share with you the details. I understand that some people believe that when things like that happen, it's demons, and some people believe it is spirits and ghosts, and some people like me are just like, there's a logical reason for it. Just because we don't know what the answer is doesn't mean there isn't a logical answer. You know what I mean? So anyway, one of the scariest things that happened was there's a row of desks, like boom, boom, boom. And I was standing up by one of the desks looking at the girl sitting at the middle desk, talking to her. We were conversing back and forth. There was nobody else in the office. Our boss had left for the day. Her office was right behind us. The door was closed and locked. She was gone. The light was off. She wasn't there. And there was no one else in the office with us. It was just me and her. And I'm talking to her, and she's talking back to me, and then I talk, and then she talks. And then all of a sudden, as clear as day, I hear a woman's voice right in my ear saying something. I couldn't make out the words, but I heard the voice as if the person was standing right next to me, saying it right into my ear. And as I'm getting ready to respond to the girl, I'm like, what? And it was completely genuine too. The girl, my coworker, when we were telling other coworkers about it at a different time, she was like, no, she heard something. She was genuinely freaked out when she was telling the story. Dawn was freaked out because you can't fake that, and it was one of the weirdest things that has ever happened to me. That voice was right there. It wasn't a voice from upstairs or from another room. It was right there. And it was weird. But it was a woman's voice. It wasn't like an evil voice or an unpleasant voice. It was just a woman's voice, just casually, matter-of-factly speaking, But it was weird. And my coworker saw my reaction and believed it was genuine. And I'm here to tell you it was genuine. Oh, and there is another thing that happened in there. We have these bookshelves that you turn the thing and they roll together and stuff. And they're like kind of long aisles between them. And so was I standing? I think I was sitting at another desk doing something, and I was kind of looking over, and I saw a woman walk by, like between, the rows. You can see what's going on the other side of the office. And I saw a woman walk by. And I got up and I walked over there because I thought I was alone in the office. And I mean, I wasn't alone in the office, but I thought that the person that I thought it was gone. So I had to look because I wanted to say hello to her if it was her. And I go and look, because there was a woman that worked in her office who was about 6 feet tall, and she was an older woman. She was very thin, and she always wore like a khaki sweater or a tan sweater or something. Not always, but sometimes. And that's what I saw. It was a woman, a very tall, slender woman, wearing like a khaki sweater, or a tan sweater, not khaki, that just kind of walked by. Like she was the printer was against the wall, so it was like she was at the printer and walked by, and I saw her. So I got up and walked over there, and it was just two of my coworkers who were very short. There was no way it was one of them. And I just looked and I was like, hi, you know, and they're like, hi. But it was not either one of them. I know it wasn't, because they wouldn't have come up that high on the other side of the shelf, because they were tiny little ladies, you know. And I was like, like, is Bonnie here? I'm just making up that name. And they were like, no. I'm like, okay. So I thought it was her, you know. And then one day, me and my coworker, we were sitting at our desk. It was like, she was next to me and I was right here. And next to us is just a wall. This is when I was sitting at a different desk. It was just a wall. There was no door or anything. There was nothing anybody can come through or anything. And there was a printer behind me, but it was primarily me and the coworker sitting next to me that used that printer. So we're clickety-clacking, working away, and I feel a swoosh behind me, like a cool burst of air, like someone, I didn't feel them go towards the printer, but it was like somebody was getting something off the printer and swooshed by. But I didn't sense somebody coming to the printer. They were just going away, like swooshing past me. And I was like, and I looked and there was nobody, you know, nobody in that office moves that damn fast enough to make a swoosh either. And I looked at my coworker next to me and I'm like, did you feel that? She's like, yes. I said, what did you feel? And she described it to me. I'm like, that, I know, what was that? But, and we went around the office, was asking people if they came over there, but we knew damn good and well nobody came over there. And I was like, that was weird. And also, particularly when I was sitting at that desk where I felt the swoosh, I would frequently smell the roses. Like, not the cut rose scent, because I don't like the scent of cut roses. I like the scent of roses while on the bush. And it was that scent, like real fresh roses. And I would frequently get a whiff of that, you know, and at that particular desk, you know, and that was weird too. And, oh, and in the bathroom one day I was, you know, there's the sinks, and then there's a bathroom stall back here and one over here. So you can see, if you're looking in the mirror, you can see the door to this bathroom stall. So I'm washing my hands and I look up in the mirror and the bathroom stall door is slowly, is it opening or closed? It's slowly opening, I believe. Like very slow. And I turn around, and when I turn around, it's completely closed. It was completely closed, and it wouldn't have had enough time in the time it took me to turn around for it to do that with such silence. So that was weird. And then one day, my coworker, Bonnie, the tall lady, she came in the office and she said, I was just in the bathroom and I heard someone say, hello. And I went, oh, hello. And I looked around and there was nobody there. That's what she told me. And one day I was in the bathroom and the same thing happened. I heard somebody go, hello. Hi. Okay. Get out of there. But I mean, it wasn't unfriendly. Just say, hey, what's up? You know? And then another incident was one day I was sitting at a different desk. I was at all the desks in there, and my coworker Bonnie, the tall one, she was at the reception window, and I heard someone say Maria, which was that's a fake name. They didn't say Maria. They said the actual name of the person. But there was somebody else that worked in my office by that name, and I heard them say Maria, and I didn't recognize the voice, and I looked up and I was like, did someone just call Maria? And Bonnie was like, yeah, I heard that too. Who was it? And we didn't know who it was. And she came out there, Maria, because she was in a separate room, but the door was always open. And she came out there and she's like, yeah. We have no idea who said her name, because it wasn't me and it wasn't Bonnie and there was nobody else around but Maria, and she didn't say it because it was like right there. The person sounded like they were standing right behind where Bonnie was sitting. So that was kind of weird. But again, not an angry spirit, you know. And then Oh, and the elevators. Now this wouldn't seem scary if it was just the elevators and none of this other stuff went on. But one day because the elevators were right across the hall from our office door. So I was coming back from somewhere, and I was walking back in the office, and the elevator door opened. Nobody came out of it, then it closed. I'm like, okay, it's dysfunctioning. And I opened the door to the office, and it opened again, and it stayed open. Nobody pushed the button or anything. Nobody came off the elevator or anything. So I'm like, okay. And so I walked back in, and I called Maria, and I said, come look at this. And she's standing there, we're both looking, and the elevator door is still open. And then it finally closes, and it dings and everything, and it goes up, and it comes back down, and it opens. Nobody gets off. It was weird, you know, but we were just thinking, oh, there's something wrong with it. So they had somebody come check it, and the guy was like, there's nothing wrong. They couldn't find anything wrong with the elevator. So we were putting up with that for a little while. And I'm like, I'm just gonna use the back door to the office from now on. Which was no better, because to go the back way through the office, we had to walk down this really creepy hall, and I would hear disembodied voices and breathing on that hall too, sometimes. Nothing specific, but just breathing like right on top of me and stuff. Really weird stuff. And I want to say the section we were in used to be a long time ago, years ago, like way before a couple of us were even born, well, I was born, but like a couple of the people weren't yet that worked there, that was the ER and urgent care area. Was that it? There was a lot of other stuff too. I can't think of anything specific. And other people shared stories too. Like I was here alone, and one day I heard a man's voice, and it sounded like he said, "Ma'am," you know, here. So, and sometimes I had to go to the office and work in there alone, but I wasn't really scared, because this whatever it was didn't seem mean, and I would just ignore it. You know, I would just be like, I'm just gonna pretend it didn't happen. Just ignore it, you know. But anyway, that's it. What do you think of that? Have y'all had experiences like this at all, specifically in hospitals? It's weird, huh? But yeah, it's all very weird. There's probably a reason for it. And the reason is probably something I'm not willing to accept just yet. But yeah, really strange. And I would think less of it if it was just me having these experiences. But everybody in that office had relayed stories about things they've seen, you know. One day, the lady Bonnie, before she started working in the office, she worked janitorial services, and she had cleaned, we had a little waiting room with a window. Just like if you walk into a doctor's office, there's a waiting room with a window. That's what we had. And she went in there, and she said she cleaned it up one day, and the chairs were all messed up, so she straightened them all out, and then she left the room to refill she had a little bucket that she put cleaning solution in. She went to go refill it. When she came back, she said the chairs were moved again. Now, I didn't see this. I'm just relaying what she said, but, you know, I have no reason to not believe her. It's really weird. So anyway, that's it for that story. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Please share your spooky dooky stories with me. That sounded gross, spooky dooky. Share your scary stories with me. Yeah. But that's it. I'm going to go now. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to everyone later. Bye.